Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hello and welcome to the Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship, fondly known as BUF. Whether you are a member or a friend or a newcomer, whether you are here in person or attending with us on Zoom, we're glad you're here. Here together in trying times. My name is Tom Nicholas, and I am serving as celebrant for today's service, which will be led by the Reverend Barbara Wells Ten Hove, who's been leading us through a transition this summer from the ministry of Paul Beckel, who retired in June, to the ministry of Sonny McMillan, who will begin working with us at the beginning of October. Please notice the announcements that are in your order of service. One example I will mention is the Buff Community Potluck following the service next Sunday. That's the 21st of September. Please bring a dish of some kind to share if you are able. If for some reason you can't bring a dish, just bring yourself. That's the most important thing. And this morning, I hope you'll join us for coffee and conversation following this service. And that will happen down in a social hall downstairs. I also want to point out that in the back of the sanctuary, there's a room we call the Wiggle Room, which you can use for very young children. They can play there while parents listen to the service. And now I want Lou Finney to come up. He has a quick announcement to make about the upcoming auction, which is one of Buff's biggest fundraising events of the year.
Thank you. And you're absolutely right. That's a big fundraiser. That's a very important one. The main reason I'm here is to tell you, to remind you that today is the last day to submit new auction items. I strongly recommend that if you've been thinking about it, maybe not, please do go downstairs after the service, go to the auction table, and consider providing whatever it is you're contemplating, including in the auction.
We'll be upstairs.
We'll be downstairs too.
And as a member of the committee, that was one of the debates that we had. Anyway, the other thing I need to mention is that we still need volunteers to participate in the process of actually having that auction meeting. We need volunteers that help deal with the hall itself, provide the support for getting dinner on the table. The other thing I recommend is that you get online and reserve your place for that auction dinner. It will be absolutely a wonderful evening with lots of options for bidding on auction items, for looking at the silent auction things that are available. And yes, by all means, check in with the auction table. Either it's going to be in the hallway just outside the sanctuary, or downstairs.
Or upstairs.
Or both. Thank you.
And now, please settle in and listen as Melanie brings us into worship with an arrangement by Mark Hayes of Come Ye Thankful People, Come.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Jocko, my husband, on the drums. Hello. Hello. I'm still the Reverend Dr. Barbara Wells Tenhove. And I can hardly believe that it's mid-September. Oh my goodness, where has the time gone? In just a week, it's going to be the equinox, and then soon it'll be Halloween and even Christmas. Woo! Now, I don't know about you, but I find it tempting sometimes to want to just rush into the next season. But today I invite us to gently pause for a moment and honor where we've been. It's been a long and full few months with loads of change, starting when our beloved minister, Paul Beckel, retired in June, and leading to the good news we received a couple of weeks ago that our new minister, Sonny McMillan, will join us on October 1st. Now, I've been extraordinarily blessed to serve you briefly as your transitional support minister. I made that title up. But it seemed sort of to define what I was trying to do, moving from my small role as an affiliated minister, mostly sitting in the pew and singing in the choir, to having a lot more responsibility to assure that the Buff ship keeps sailing smoothly. This morning, with summer in the rearview mirror, but fall not quite here, I'm thinking about all that has transpired and what's on the horizon. And it seems like a good morning to reflect a bit on where we've been and where we're going next. But for now, let's take a moment and just look around the sanctuary and see the faces of beloved friends and new folks you've yet to meet. And in the spirit of welcome, I invite you to reach across the aisle or the back of your pew and say hello to your neighbors. Take a minute, say hello. In body and spirit, and sing together. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come
In the gray hymnal, there's a little song that we often sing. It goes, "From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live." I think of these words as a kind of motto for Buff, Because we're a community. And isn't that what creates community? The act of sharing? At Buff and in Unitarian Universalism in general, we often speak of the values we share. Holding those values together creates a connection. I can feel that connection right now. And that connection, that sharing, is the seed of community. I say the seed of community because to really create community, connection has to be ongoing. There has to be commitment underlying the connection. And that commitment is written into the covenant that we say together every Sunday. That's why we say it. One more thing about community is that it's dynamic. It evolves. One of the things that keeps Buff alive is the addition of new people. It's been so exciting in the last few months to see so many new faces here. And in a couple of weeks, of course, Sonny McMillan, our new minister, will join us and begin working with us. So, in a generous and welcoming spirit, let's light the chalice, and then we'll say our covenant together. Okay, here we go. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service gives it life. Celebrating our diversity and joined by a quest for truth, we work for peace and honor all creation. This is our covenant.
I feel weird with all these things in front of me. Good morning, everyone. I'm Liz Epperson. I'm your RE coordinator here at Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship. And I am here to tell you what we're up to in RE. So, RE, Religious Explorers, Religious Education. We have fun together. We had a solstice party last year. We had an end-of-the-year beach party on the last Sunday before the end of the school year, where we planned a camp out, which is where a lot of our families are, if you've been looking around wondering, not as many kids here. We had about 45 people over at Abe and Katrina's place last night. So, yeah. And some folks are here this morning that didn't want to spend the night, me being one of them. We also teamed up with, I don't remember if it was a welcoming committee, but there was an ice cream social, and we had a lot of people with their kids come to that, which was really, really wonderful. Okay, the next slide. Up in RE, kids make art and meet new friends. We have the art space that's been up there for about a year, where we can get messy, play with some paint and water and goodness knows what. We made blanket forts, which is the plan for what the children will do this year during the auction upstairs. And we brought some little baby chicks in. Those were the new friends we made. I really loved that day. Okay, next slide. YouthCon. Last year, my daughter Jane went to YouthCon in Vancouver, BC. YouthCon is amazing, usually ages 13 to senior year. The different cons have different age ranges, and the youth actually run the con. The grown-ups are there to support, make sure it's safe, following our rules and regulations to ensure a good time for everybody. But the kids plan the themes, they plan the activities, they plan the chalice circles, they help set up for dinner, they help clean up after dinner. And it is an incredible experience that I hope our Buff UU kids get to experience soon, especially when they're old enough. But if you're already old enough, you should talk to my daughter Jane. She loved it. These three, I know these three really well. They pulled an all-nighter. They got special crowns, and they barely made it out the door before they fell asleep. Okay, next slide. So one of the things we do upstairs is we follow UUA curriculum that teaches kids about our UU values, and sometimes about, other religions and how we are similar, and how to be open-minded and follow all the things that we strive to follow as UUs. That would include, we made notes of encouragement for the Trevor Project last year. We made homemade I voted stickers and handed them out at coffee. It was a really fun way for the kids to meet some grown-ups here that they hadn't met before. And the curriculum is just fantastic. We're using, if you want to nerd out, it's called Soul Matters, but there's lots to choose from. Next slide. Just awesome people, not just our kids, but our teachers. Like I said, a lot of us are at the camp out, but anybody who helps out in pre-K, through youth group, through, I would even say Grant, I'm hoping will get OWL going, and Grant's kind of my guy. If you want to kind of just stand up real quick so everyone can kind of see you, and thank you for being awesome and working with our kids. Yep. We got Joanne here, and Rena's husband John is upstairs waiting for the kids to come up. And also, I really like this photo in the middle. Some of you will recognize Lucy on this side. And then maybe not as much, but Ruby. They both were stewards and teachers up in RE, and they're both going to college this year, as well as Anna, who's downstairs right now, and today's actually her last day, and I have a card. So if some of you want to just sign that, I'll be downstairs. We're just really grateful to all of our people. Okay, next slide. This one. So if you're inspired and you are excited and you want to be a part of this, please come see me. We have opportunities to help out as teachers. I can set everything up for you, and it has a script and everything, and you just get to do it, or you can just help, or do some things behind the scenes. We're looking for librarians, looking for someone to help me keep electronic records of our attendance, kind of an easy 10-minute job. If any of that sounds interesting to you, you may send me an email or remember this face and come find me after the service. Thank you, everybody. And I think it's time to sing our kids off to their class today.
We're so grateful to Liz. She's done such incredible work this year. We're very grateful to you. We hold you in our love as you go. We love as you go. It's a kind of little, may your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. Let's do it one more time. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go, to nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
Good morning. I'm David Curley from the Black Lives Matter team. Today I want to address the well-planned political chaos of this moment and what we can do in response. These are my own opinions, and frankly, I'm going to ask for your help. About the planned chaos of this administration, I have two observations. The first is they believe in white supremacy. They are consciously and overtly racist. But they also are sexist and anti-queer, and they oppose all kinds of support for poor people and add the removal of environmental protections. I know you don't need examples, but I wonder how many of us are aware that in the first few months of the Dodge reduction of force, 319,000 black women lost their jobs. Not by accident, by design. What can we do? Second, this administration violates whosever rights they choose because they oppose the very idea of rights for everyone else. As Unitarians, we are and will be targeted because of who we are and what we believe and what we do. Those of us who are relatively privileged, and I know there are many here who are not, may escape for a while, but I think we cannot count on staying safe by keeping our heads down. I remember the stories I heard in college from people who had escaped the Holocaust in Germany. Excuse me. From childhood, I was taught that when God's laws conflict with a godless state, we must obey God. We Unitarians claim, I think, a similar priority. In every situation, we ask ourselves how to follow the calling of love. We must know this will not make us safe. From my experience with the Black Lives Matter team, working with them and in the wider community, I know that when we establish trust, we experience joy together as we learn to work together. What work can we do? To borrow from the civil rights movement, we can keep on keeping on, doing what love asks us to do. This is a powerful witness, and it will provide some help. We can continue to support all those people that Buff does support: Native Americans, immigrants, refugee families, farm workers, homeless people, queer people, and black people, and the web of life. We also can and will learn to be more effective as a congregation as we learn how to support each other. And I think this probably will not be enough. Listening for and speaking for the truth with each other, as each of us is given to see the truth, as I am trying to do now, is a powerful tool. It's the best way I know how to discover our next step, finding a way where there's no way. When we listen to others speak the truth as they know it, we discover and acknowledge their inherent worth and dignity. Deciding what to do in a mutually respectful democratic process, we recreate core rights in a community of people who choose this process: freedom of conscience, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and a community based on both rights and democracy. The BLM team is planning ongoing conversations at Buff with invited speakers who know about the issues that face us. As we so far have planned, the first one will be about ICE and immigrants. Please come and contribute your own experiences, doubts, questions, and opinions, and may all of us practice and find radical welcome here. Thank you.
David, would you repeat what it is that's the first thing BLM is doing?
Don't know when. Coming up, watch for the announcement. But we're going to have conversations on a series of issues with people who know about them.
Thank you, David. As we move as a congregation toward welcoming a new minister, we think of the future and the challenges it will bring. To face those challenges, we need, well, what do we need? I think you know. We need each other, first of all. We need each other's energy and skill and commitment, and we need each other's trust. That's fundamental. But because we live in the world we live in, we also need money. And so, as the ushers come forward, please help us meet that need as generously as you are able.
Let's take a deep breath together. Gracious Spirit, whom we call by many names, on this day, we are aware of so much suffering and so much loss and so much pain. And we come together to this place to find hope and healing and possibility. And even so, our hearts break. But in coming together, we find a way to forgive ourselves and each other. and to begin again in love. For remaining silent when a single voice would have made a difference.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love.
For each time that our fears have made us rigid and inaccessible,
for each time that we have struck out in anger without just cause.
for each time our greed has blinded us to the needs of others.
For the selfishness that sets us apart and alone.
For falling short of the admonitions of the Spirit.
For losing sight of our unity.
For these and for so many acts, both evident and subtle, which have fueled the illusion of separateness.
We forgive ourselves and each other. We begin again in love. Amen. And blessed be. I've always loved that beautiful musical litany written by my friend and colleague, the late Robert Eller Isaacs. Robbie was brought up Unitarian Universalist like I was, but unlike me, his parents came to our faith via Judaism. Rob always brought a rabbi's sensibility to his work, and I deeply value his perspective on forgiveness and moving forward. I love that this litany reminds us that we can, even after hard and difficult times, begin again in love. This piece was written for the new year, reminding us to start again with a clean slate. I've always found the fall to be much more of a new year than January. And of course, Judaism celebrates the new year in September, this year on the equinox, September 22nd, so just a week from now. And this time of year always seems so poignant, as the beauty of the fall is, as we often forget, a sign of things dying. Last year, I wrote a short poem about it that went, feet scuffle and slip, nose runs, winter coming. I pick my way through the loveliness of loss. Red, orange, the colors of death. Such beauty in endings. Endings can indeed be beautiful, and I think it can be very valuable to do endings well so we can move forward with beginnings. So often we're just tempted to rush to the next thing, forgetting to take the time to ponder and reflect on where we've been before we go headlong into what is before us. And the equinox, just a week away, invites us to look in both directions at once, balanced between what was and what might be. Now, you may remember that the celebrant team and I made a decision to focus the last few weeks of summer and the first 2 Sundays of September on the theme of turning. And last week, we brought our summer to a close by turning to the sea, the lakes, and streams that bless us in our region with our annual water communion ceremony. Today, we turn again, this time clearly starting the church year with familiar things like religious exploration activities beginning, the choir back to singing for us, and a minister. This minister in, well, it's not exactly a pulpit, but close enough. I know my tenure as the sitting minister here has been intentionally very brief. But I can't ignore that for this brief moment, I'm here in front of you as your minister. It's a privilege, and I'm grateful for the support I've been given over the past few months. And I'm really glad I'll be moving back into the pew in a few weeks. But before I do, I want to take a minute to look back and remember where we've come from over these few short months. Back in the winter, our former minister, Reverend Paul Beckel, made the very significant decision to retire. It was a big step for him and for his family to move to Minnesota, but it was right and it was good that he and Jane should live closer to their sons and beloved grandchildren. Before they left in late June, we gave them a bang-up send-off with intention and love. We all recognize that good goodbyes make new hellos that much easier. And yet we had to wait a bit to see if we were even going to be able to say hello to a new minister, as the search for a traditional interim didn't work out. And boy, that was painful. That was painful. For a few months, we wondered and we waited to see if we'd get a new minister, and into that gap, I, with a bit of trepidation and curiosity, stepped. And since the end of June, I've been your minister, leaving the pew for the pulpit, again, as I did when I was your sabbatical minister in 2022. And it wasn't until a few short weeks ago that I, along with all of you, learned that we would indeed have a new minister, Sunny McMillan. But as she won't be joining us until October 1st, I have the odd but lovely privilege of getting the new church year started, holding us gently until I can give this pulpit or music stand or lavalier mic or, pick your symbol, into Sunny's very capable hands. And I find it humbling to be here right now in front of you. Like many of you, I have felt a lot of feelings during these last few months, from sadness to joy and everything in between. But I recognize that while time can feel quite cyclical, particularly in the fall, it's really going only in one direction. And that means we must move forward. And so I ask us all today, how shall we move forward? Can we, as the season turns and the new year unfolds, begin again in love? Well, while you think about that, and before I talk about it, let's sing about love. Let's sing hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Please rise in body or spirit. We'll sing together. Some years ago, I found a lovely piece by Margaret Wheatley, a writer I respect and appreciate very much, that speaks to my topic this morning. Listen as Tom reads her wise words from a poem she calls Turning to One Another.
There is no power greater than a community discovering what it cares about. Ask what's possible, not what's wrong. Keep asking. Notice what you care about. Assume that many others share your dreams. Be brave enough to start a conversation that matters. Talk to people you know. Talk to people you don't know. Talk to people you never talk to. Be intrigued by the differences you hear. Expect to be surprised. Treasure curiosity more than certainty. Invite in everybody who cares to work on what's possible. Acknowledge that everyone is an expert about something. Know that creative solutions come from new connections. Remember, you don't fear people whose story you know. Real listening always brings people closer together. Trust that meaningful conversations can change your world. Rely on human goodness. Stay together.
I just love that, don't you? I mean, it's so true, isn't it? Let me unpack a few lines from it for us, as I think they might be helpful as we envision the future, as we begin again in love. I love that she begins with these words, ask what's possible, not what's wrong. When we're struggling with change, asking what's wrong is easy to do. And I understand the desire to ask what's wrong. I am a natural worrywart, and I can always figure out what's not working. But when I ask what's possible, I'm far more likely to find a new direction forward. Looking backward can certainly teach us things. Oh yes, it totally can teach us things. But it can also mire us in might have beens. Asking what's possible helps us imagine a future and start moving toward it. So I ask you, what's possible here? Who do you want to be as a person? Who do we want to be as a congregation? I love how Margaret Wheatley helps us think this through. She suggests that we notice what we care about and to assume that many others share our dreams. She encourages us to be brave enough to start a conversation that matters. Now, what might such a conversation look like? I think it begins with asking each other, what does this church really mean to you? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you and to you, to you and to you? You may discover that you have very different visions of what this congregation is supposed to be. You may discover that you have similar ideas about what we must do to move boldly into the future, but we can't know unless we ask. Now, I've been a part of Buff for 8 years now, mostly taking a small role as an affiliated minister sitting in the pew. But over the past few months, I've had a different vantage point to see our church from this perch. And combined with my 8 years of living in the midst of this wonderful congregation and my 40 years of being a UU minister, as a lens to look through, I've gotten a better sense of who we are and what we want for ourselves and for our community. I think we want a ministry that deepens our spirits and challenges our assumptions. We want our kids and youth to find meaning and hope in a challenging world. We want a building that is accessible to people of all abilities, and that is beautiful to look at. We want to engage with our community, our nation, and our world out of a place of justice and compassion. And we want to be the best people we can possibly be, even though we know we'll never be perfect. And I'm going to say that again, friends. We will never be perfect. Please say that to me now and again. Now, say it. I need to hear that sometimes. It's a hard one for me. Thanks, hon. He knows me well. Well, all of the dreams we have, all of them are possible. And yet, we all know dreams don't come true unless we work toward making them so. I think it was Ichiro who, in his talk for the, when he was put into the Hall of Fame, he talked about the difference between a dream and a goal. And he said, dreams are great, but goals get you there. So thank you, Ichiro. I love Margaret Wheatley, too. She's not as cool as Ichiro, but she reminds us that creative solutions come from new connections. So what new connections might we make this year? Growing churches are places where people reach out across their usual boundaries. Are you someone who always hangs out with the elders, maybe because you're an elder? Or how about talking with a teen and asking them what's up with their world? Are you a parent whose primary connection to people here is with other parents and their kids? How about finding a single person in late middle age and asking them about what matters? Are you someone who comes to church primarily for social justice issues? Well, talk with someone for whom the music or the worship is central and ask them why, and share your thoughts. As Margaret Wheatley says, real listening always brings people closer together. Trust that meaningful conversations can change our world. We are indeed heading into a new year with a new minister starting October 1st. I encourage us to talk deeply with her and with each other and listen to what we hear. Let's share our worry, yes, and there's a lot of it, but also our stories of when the church went through a change and found a way forward. Let's share our concerns, yes, but also our stories of those moments of joy and celebration that got us through the challenges. Let's share our vision, yes, but also our ideas about how to fulfill the dreams that are bubbling up, our goals. Let's share those too. Margaret Wheatley suggests that we invite everybody who cares to work on what's possible. Invite in everybody who cares to work on what's possible. Acknowledge that everyone is an expert about something. Know that creative solutions come from new connections. I urge us to make these connections going forward. I mean, look around you. Look at all the talent that's here, so much good energy, so much spiritual depth. If we stay together and trust that together, we can be more and we can see more than we can be and see alone. I am absolutely certain that we will move forward with vision and hope. And Lord knows in this crazy world, thank you, David, we need vision. And we need hope. And finding that vision and that hope won't always be easy. It's not easy. But you know, I've been a Unitarian Universalist and a churchgoer my entire life. And let me assure you that church is not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be good. That's not the same thing. We are very lucky, friends, that in a couple of weeks, our new minister, Sunny McMillan, will be joining us. She is so excited to meet us. She is thrilled to get to work with us, and she's got new ideas and new energy. I'll talk a bit more on my last Sunday here in the pulpit on September 28th about how we might welcome her. But for now, I would just remind us to stay open and excited by the change that is coming instead of shut down. For this church is a place that can handle change, and our faith is a faith that can change lives. It's changed my life. I think it may have changed some of yours too. I believe that the purpose of the religious community is to help us become who we are truly meant to be. And this church is here to help all of us do that. So how will we offer ourselves in service to the vision before us? How will we listen and learn from someone who is different? How will we cross borders and see what's possible from another person's perspective? How will we care deeply for someone who angers or annoys us? How will we make a difference in our world through our participation in this community? I hope we will ask and start answering these questions throughout this year before us. Let's talk to each other and to our new minister from a place of depth, meaning, and purpose, and listen with open hearts, minds, and spirits. Let's make time in our busy lives to come here and be a part of something greater than we can be alone. The beauty of the changing seasons is that each year we have the capacity to begin again. If we commit to do so with love as our guide, I am confident that a year from now, when the season turns yet again, we will look back and say to each other, we had a vision to move forward with love, and we did so. And our church is stronger than ever before. I have faith in you, my friends. Let's rise again with hope and joy. Amen. And blessed be. And the choir is coming forward. The rest of you can stay seated because the choir is going to help us rise again. You will have your chance. I promise you.
When the waves roll on over the waters and the ocean cries, we look to our sons and daughters to explain our lives.
Rise again.
with love and with courage and with hope. Go forth, my friends, and believe that you can make a difference. As Tom extinguishes our flaming chalice, the symbol of our faith, go forth and create a world that we want our children and our children's children to live in. And let us create a circle of love and hope and possibility. Come, let us circle together.
Right on the door.